Yo, what it do, Facebook family? It's Apostle Axel Sipach with the Epic Live podcast. I hope everyone's doing well this Saturday evening. And come on in, come on in. I know it's about 9 p.m. On the East Coast. It's 8 p.m. Central. And on the West Coast here where I am, it's just a little past 6 o'clock in the evening. So come on in and please take a moment to share the broadcast with your friends, your fans,
Yes.
and I'll introduce my guest in just a moment as the audience begins to build. But in the meantime, we've got an exciting program tonight. We're going to talk about grow, closing the gap between who you are and who you were meant to be. Really, how to fully unlock your full potential. And so we're going to get on to that topic in just a few minutes. And so listen, I want to also greet you. Let me know what city, what state, what nation, where you're coming on from. And I'm just going to take a moment now and share with my other pages. And so also want to welcome anyone coming on from YouTube. We're starting to broadcast on YouTube also. And so come on in, welcome. And just give me a moment to share the broadcast also. And I'll be back with you in just a minute. All right.
I will pause it too.
And remember to use the @ sign, and some of you, you can use @followers, @top fans, and depending on whatever pops up when you use the @ sign, that lets you to use, and so that will help get the reach out further tonight. Also, I believe it's going to be a really important message that's going to bless a lot of people this evening here. So. I'll be with you in just a moment. Let me go to my other page here. And you can use @highlight also on some pages. So just depends on what page you're using here. So let me share one more time, and I'll be right with you here. Let's go and grow. There we go. Right. All right, come on in, everyone. Just wait a few more moments for the comments to build. They're always a little bit slow sometimes here, but listen, my guest is Dr. Marcos Coronado, one of my spiritual sons, and Epic Global Network leader from Mexicali, Mexico. And welcome to the podcast tonight, son.
Yeah, thank you, Pops, Apostle. Thank you for having me here. I know that we are going to have like a great conversation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So come on in, and let me put this banner up here just a second here so people can remember. If you use @highlight, @followers, or @top fans. I saw you use something else in Spanish. What is it? @descar or something?
We have like seguidores and destacar. Destacar. Highlighted like destacar.
Destacar. @destacar and what's the other one?
And seguidores. Followers. Seguidores.
Okay. Not @hermanos or hombres, @hombres. How come they didn't do @hombres?
Hombres.
Just a suggestion.
Yeah.
So if you're tuning in from the Spanish-speaking world, you can use those. Say it again, Marcos.
Es destacar, @destacar y @seguidores.
All right. So if you're coming in from Spanish-speaking world, you can use that. Otherwise, I've just put on there, you can use @highlight or @followers or @top fans. So when you put the @ sign, it should give you then on the top which one your page allows. So if you have a lot of followers, they usually on a public page, it'll be top fans. If it's a private page, it'll let you use @highlight or sometimes @followers, depending on where your your followers, what level of followers you have. And so come on in. And again, please let me know what city, what state, what nation, what island, where you're coming on from. And we'll just take a moment to greet you, and then we'll jump right into the conversation this evening. We have Tara Hosford. God bless you. Good to have you on the program tonight. And let me know also if you're a first-time viewer to the podcast, the Epic Podcast. And we have Alden Taylor. There we have Adriana Guerrero. God bless you. We have Jay Jr. Blessings to you from Jersey. All right. Adriana Guerrero says, "Señores y señoritas." All right. Gloria a Dios. Hola, gloria a Dios. From Los Angeles, Adriana is California and Upland. All right. And we have Tara Hosford watching from Canada. Wonderful. Where are you from in Canada, Tara? Let me know. I love Canada. I'm just about 3.5 hours from Vancouver. From the border in British Columbia, and that's one of my favorite places to go and visit. Tecumseh, Ontario. Okay, the weather must be getting a little bit chilly and wintry in Ontario this time of year now. I've been to Montreal and Toronto, of course. Montreal is a beautiful city. I haven't visited Quebec City yet. That's someplace I'd like to visit sometime. It's really beautiful French kind of a place. But God bless you all thank you for coming on. And we'll continue to greet you as the broadcast continues. But please, sharing is caring. And this is a really important topic that we want to break into this evening. So really want to encourage you to share the broadcast. Again, use that highlight at followers or at top fans. And again, my guest is Dr. Marcos Coronado. He is from Mexicali, Mexico. He's a professor at a university there in Baja, and he is a PhD. He also moves in the prophetic. He's a prophet, serving in his local church with his brothers there in Revive Church in Mexicali, and so he has really been focusing a lot lately on researching and writing about leadership and the importance of leadership, not in terms of only just leading, in the business world, in the secular world, but of course also in the church world, but also leading ourselves, right? Leading ourselves. And I want to take a moment as we jump into this tonight to just to share from the post that I had put up for this, and I said I used a saying that said, "They tried to bury us, but they didn't know we were seeds."
Yeah.
And I thought this saying was by an ancient Greek poet that became a very popular Mexican proverb, and I think we can all relate to this at times in our lives. The thing with the seed is that it must grow.
Yes.
It must grow. And as society faces a growing hunger for meaning and sustainable growth, we have to shift from passive living to purpose-driven transformation. Did you get that? We have to shift. We have to shift. Shifting starts here. We have to shift from passive living. And there are so many that live just in that realm of passive living. And we really have to be intentional about shifting to purpose-driven living. Who was it? Rick Warren in his book, Purpose-Driven Life. My goodness, that book sold millions. And that book made him a multimillionaire.
Yes.
Purpose-driven life. And people were hungry to understand regarding that. And so it's not just about feeling better. I think sometimes in some of our circles, we want to just feel better. Well, that's part of it. We all want to feel better, but it's also about becoming better. Hallelujah. And that comes through unlocking your full potential. That you end up not having so many regrets in your life, but really unlocking your full potential. And so in this broadcast, we want to talk about closing the gap between who you are now and who you're meant to be, who you are now and who you are meant to be. And that happens through resilience, through vision, through consistent, intentional growth, consistent, intentional growth. And so as we begin the broadcast tonight, the podcast tonight, I want you to think about for a moment regarding growth, regarding grow, the word grow. And by the way, a lot of what we're speaking about tonight is coming from a new book that Dr. Marcos will be having come out the very near future, called Grow. And when you think about growth or grow, about yourself growing, what do you think about? What do you think about? So what would you, in your own words, how would you describe grow, right? Is there a moment in your life when you realized, I need to grow? I need to grow. I need to grow. And let me ask you, Dr. Marcos Coronado, why did you
Yes.
write this book? And when was it in your life that you realized you had to grow? Now, I've known you for over 20 years now, and I remember when you were just a late teenager, like 18 or something, and you were a very studious, intellectual kind of a person, and a spiritual person too. You're a incredible musician with the bass guitar, right?
Yeah,
And
the bass guitar.
yeah, bass guitar. You're a tremendous bassist, and so you have a great creative side. But then you got a PhD in biofuels and engineering, whatever, all that stuff. And so
Yeah.
that's interesting. That's like two sides of the brain,
Yeah.
being awakened and activated. And
Yeah.
so when did you decide that you needed to write about growing?
Yeah. It was exactly, it was around 4 or 5 years ago that I really started like to be, I had like this passion, on growth. It was the only way that I could like to really become, and achieve the vision, that um, God put in my heart, to my life, even in ministry, even in every aspect, in academia, in so many dimensions of life. So I started like to thinking and really reflecting how important was was growing in order to achieve uh, that higher version, of myself in the future. So I started like digging a lot, and praying a lot, and studying the Bible, studying books, connecting and relating to people that helped me to have like a clearer path, in that growth journey. So it was something that I always like challenges. I always like things like to be uncomfortable, like if I'm going to learn something new, it's something that really excites me. It's really that really I have this passion, to navigate into
I
those
remember when you
paths.
first came to with our epic team to the United Nations for the CSW, Commission on the Status of Women. That was a game changer for you, being in that environment at the UN headquarters and with humanitarians and business people and government people and heads of state from around the world
Yeah,
and all of that. And that was a game changer. And you've been coming every year since then.
yeah, and I am really thankful, apostles, for opening that kind of possibilities, because growth happens in that let's say domain, of possibilities of the unknown, is to have like this um, attitude, right and proper attitude to size opportunities, in that kind of environments.
Yeah,
And
because
like,
from that impact, you actually, in cooperation with another organization, you actually another nonprofit, you actually set up in your own university a women's leadership intensive, 9 month
yeah,
intensive there, and that almost 100 students, women students, young women, went through in terms of being raised up and seeing the potential of their leadership, and especially
yes,
in terms of working on the soft skills and necessary that you have to be a female leader in government, in business, wherever, in any organization. And that was so highly successful.
yes. And in that time, I talk about that specific opportunity, apostle, in the book Grow, is how to really I took that opportunity, and actually before going to the UN, and when I knew that I was joining you with this amazing group of leaders, from EPIC in the United Nations, I started to pray. I started to ask God, to really open for opportunities, for possibilities. Of course, it's a great opportunity to be there, to talk with people, to relate with uh, different people with different backgrounds, even with having fellowship with you. That's is very unique and very special with other leaders. But I was like really praying with to God, like, God, please open opportunities and bring something, to the agenda. And I am going with something in the agenda, not something just to have get fun there and to know people, know another cultures, and to listen to different maybe heads of states or whatever. But please, I want to take something real from this opportunity, and that's what really happened. I was like having this very humble attitude, and open mind, in order to engage with conversations with people. And that's where, thanks to a conversation, a small conversation, that we started there with a global organization, it was possible to really came up with this global leadership program for women. So
Yeah.
it was a huge game changer, that elevated, like my game, like my everything, and actually, it fostered my vision, and my passion, and about how important is to equip the next generation leaders. So that's what really is my drive, my why I did it, because I have this burden, for the next generation leaders. In this case, it started with this global leadership program for women,
The
because we
women, yeah.
know that how important it is to encourage and to equip and to inspire, women
Yeah.
to become the leaders, that they are meant to be.
Yeah, we have an opportunity every year through one of my connections, a spiritual son of mine in Paris that has a United Nations accredited NGO, and we get about 12 seats to be delegates and participate in the annual CSW Commission on the Status of Women and Girls, and that happened at the United Nations headquarters in New York City every March, and there are many sub themes that they have every year dealing with issues regarding women and girls around the world, and the progress of that and the status of that, and what needs to happen next regarding opening more opportunities for women, and women are really necessary in the marketplace, in organizations, in government, and so forth, to bring a perspective that doesn't just happen with a male patriarchy necessarily, and it's really, really, really necessary. And I know that was a game changer for you. We've been doing that now for, I think, we've been going almost 10 years now, 11 years, and
Yeah.
so having that opportunity, and so I'm glad that really was a life changer for you, to be in that environment and to
Yeah.
unlock more and more of your leadership potential, and because you already been overseeing PhD students and so forth at your university, so young
Yes.
people, master's and PhD level, and so forth. But now that really upped your game in terms of your leadership potential, personally, that could then manifest outwardly to so many others.
Yes, yes, and it helped a lot, in order to put, because it was a program, at institutional level here in my university.
It was the
And
catalyst, right?
yeah, it was a catalyst. Yeah, and it's important to know that, because how one conversation, one relationship, very intentional relationship, can really catalyze, your growth. In this case, my growth, is how to be really in touch, being in this relationship with you, for example, receiving, impartation, from you, and having this kind of opportunities allowed me to materialize and to design, a program with a global organization, and to put it in motion, in my university, and to bring, the benefit to because that is what drives me, the, to bring this benefit to the students, because they are the leaders of the future, in order to give them the opportunity to develop their leadership. It is what I shared, with the president of my university. It was about, what drives me? It drives me this, the possibility to transform education and the university, to give the opportunity to the 70,000 students
Wow.
to really develop their leadership skills. So that's what drives me. It's what I am looking for. So we started with this program, 125 students, and then we start building from that. Before that, there were none global leadership program for women. So
Wow.
now,
Wow.
university put leadership, like on the map, based on this wonderful experience, a 1 year program where different students from different backgrounds, careers, freshmen, sophomores, and seniors were together, uh, building up a community of leaders, of growing leaders. So yeah, that's what what it was in my heart, to put
Wow.
in motion this amazing project.
Wow. So speaking in as far as self-leadership, we know regarding leadership in businesses and churches and corporations and government and all of these other mountains of influence requiring leadership for progress and success and fruitfulness. But what about self-leadership? I think that's what we're probably focusing on tonight
Yeah,
in terms of growing. And I still love that ancient Greek poets saying that the Mexicans adopted as
yeah,
their proverb, and they tried to bury us, but they didn't know we were seeds,
yeah,
and that is so powerful because so many things try to bury us. In life, circumstances, even, where we were born, country we were born in, the economic status we were born in, all kinds of various things may try to bury us in life.
yeah,
Economic situations, relationship situations, just all kinds of burdens, whatever negative things that may have happened in our lives, dramatic, traumatic things, etc., that tries to bury us, and yet it says, but they didn't know we were seeds. So that's talking about potential, because within
yes,
every little apple seed is the potential to become an apple tree that produces many apples, that produces hundreds of thousands of seeds, right?
yeah,
And so they didn't know we were seeds. And so that's really, really powerful, because, and I could see why that would be adopted by other cultures in terms of that ancient Greek poets saying, because it is so true. And so when we begin to see ourselves as a seed, then we're seeing the potential of that seed. That seed has incredible potential inside of it.
yes,
But that seed also needs to be buried into an environment also, in terms of being able to, because the life is within the seed, but there's an outer shell of the seed that has to crack. There's an
yes,
outer shell of the seed when it's planted in the right soil, receiving the right temperature and the right moisture and all of those very right conditions of the right soil. Then that outer shell at the right time can begin to crack, and the life that is within the seed can begin to come forth. And
yes,
that life comes as a little seedling, begins to pop through the ground, break through the ground, and continually to grow with the right soil and sun conditions and moisture conditions, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it begins to grow and grow and grow, and having the opportunity then to become an apple tree that can produce so many apples, and then hundreds of thousands of seeds and all of those apples that can go through the whole process again. So that's really, really powerful in terms of that. So how do we unlock that potential? How do we go from where we're at to where we're meant to be? How do we even understand where are we meant to be? Many
Yeah.
people don't even know that next step of where am I meant to be. There is a old kind of unbelief, que sera, whatever will be, and that is so, I mean, in religious terminology we call it Calvinism, because it's like,
Yes.
well, whatever will be. And so, well, goodness, if you believe that, then why even pray? Why even have faith? Why even believe God if it's already written, so to speak, in the cards of your life, so to speak? Everything is going to be like it's going to be. No, 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 no. There's an element of faith here if you're a true believer. And
Yes.
so how do you get to from one place to the next place?
Yeah, I know. First of all, I love that metaphor, that you're talking about, about the seeds, so much potential, that from a seed, we can not just have like fruits, but we can have like a huge forest, of trees and whatever.
Absolutely.
So that's
For
amazing, how,
generations to come.
yeah, so that's the
What
thing.
what
So
we produce can produce a legacy for generations.
yeah, and it's about that. Leadership is about that. It's about
I
having
feel the
this.
anointing of the Holy Ghost on that.
Yes, having that intergenerational mindset, we are not just thinking about ourselves. We're thinking about the next people that are coming, in the future, in the future generations. So that's kingdom mindset, and that's so important, having this, uh, considering, this when we are building our leadership and our communities. So that's so important. So yeah, seeds needs that environment. Seeds needs that kind of nutrients. They need sunlight. They need so many things, in order to grow, and is to have like the conditions, because environment is important, for those seeds to become a tree and to
Absolutely.
become, then the harvest will come and fruits and whatever. So that's very important. So then, how to go from where we are to that place where we are meant to be. So first, it's important to know where we are. So that's very important to make like an assessment where we are as person, and that it can allow us, to have we need to be really, let's say, thoughtful and really humbled, to ask ourselves, and to really allow God to assess our lives, our hearts. Where are we right now? So what is like our foundation right now, in the present? Is like to try to not try to make an assessment in every aspect of our life. So that's we have to be really honest about that. How good we are doing in in specific areas of our lives. So when we're talking about specific areas, we're talking about how is our spiritual life, how is our intellectual life, how is our emotional aspect of our life, how is our relationships, how is our financial aspects. So
Our physical life, our health wise,
how is our health,
financial life, our health life. Yeah.
our physical health, so our mental health. So
Yeah.
it's about being really honest about how we are doing in the different domains of life. So when we do this kind of assessment, it's like a wheel, you know and when I like this metaphor, I like these wheels in life, because at the end, our life is like a wheel. So we in order to keep moving forward and advancing in every aspect of our life, so we need to be like a wheel, like to be in that shape, like a circle shape, in order to be able to keep moving forward, uh, in the best possible way. And then we can like have, the traction and the speed, or even higher speeds, because our wheel is in the proper shape, but what happens when that shape is like unbalanced? What happens when we have like imbalance, in our life? So we are not be able to be effective in moving forward. in our lives. So that's why it's important to make this assessment in every aspect, how well, how good, or how bad we are doing.
Yeah.
And then it's important to identify what are we going to what kind of activities or what kind of sacrifices we are willing to do in those categories in order to start to making a difference and to improve
People don't
in
like
in,
that
in in
word.
our life.
People don't like that word, sacrifices.
I know it's not a
Another
sexy word.
another name for that is discipline.
It's discipline, yeah,
Yeah.
and that is doing the things that we know
But it's one of
that
the
we
fruit, it's actually one of the fruit of the spirit.
yeah. So it's
Self-discipline.
this self-discipline is one of the things that we know that we need to do, even if we have the desire to do it, or maybe the desire is not there, it's absent, but we know that we have to show up and do it anyway.
Yeah, but I
So
think you mentioned
that's
earlier about why, and I think the many reasons people don't have enough incentive or whatever to show up is because their why is not big enough, or they don't even know what their why is. And I think that's probably where everything has to start with. It has to start with their why. If I want to lose weight, why do I want to lose weight? Because I want to be healthy to do what I need to do to fulfill my purpose. If I want to get stronger financially, why? Because,
yes,
et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So the thing is that what is my why? What is my purpose? What is my destiny? So we have to spend time. If you're a believer, if you're a Christian, you want to spend time with the Lord, with the Holy Spirit, so that I call it prophetic daydreaming. It's probably a little bit like what my terminology for what the professor from MIT
yeah,
uses with his theory U,
yes,
so just get yourself comfortable in the living room somewhere or wherever, in your car, in a park, wherever, and just put on a little worship music, pray for a few moments, and then just relax, close your eyes, ask the Holy Spirit to begin to pull back the curtains of what your next 3 to 5 years or so can look like, should look
yes,
like, and will look like if you make the right steps forward. And so I think you need to begin to see that. You need to begin to feel it. You need to begin to feel it in your emotions. You need to see it. You need to sense it. You need to almost taste it, like the Bible says, taste and see that the Lord, he is good. All of your senses, begin to become involved with it. And your mind begins to go there to think about the possibilities
yes,
of that potential, and so you begin to catch a greater glimpse of the future, of the emerging future, and understand that this is what God has planned for you. This is what your life can look like, even in the next 3 to 5 years ahead. Uh, and so then that why becomes big enough to roll out of bed in the morning and do what you have to do to get your day started. That why becomes big enough to besides reading the scriptures and your Bible, which you must do and pray, but also then reading other books. Because we know the old adage saying that leaders are readers, or readers
yes,
are leaders. And
yes,
the two connect together, and so that you begin to research and study regarding the areas that God wants you to grow in. You begin to realize what areas you need to grow in to move forward into that potential that you begin to see, in going through the door of the open door of the possibilities that God begins to show you, and that begins to become big on the inside of you. That dream, that vision, that purpose, that destiny, that why, that it begins to become the framework for you in terms of everything else you do. All of your decisions you begin to make are based on that, especially big decisions you begin to make regarding even who you will marry, where you will move to, big financial decisions. Is it time to buy a house and go into that
uh,
financial debt, or is it not, because you might move? Is it time to do this, or is it time to do that, or is it time to prepare yourself for doing something else regarding making a living, or whatever it may be? But you've got to have that dream, you've got to have that vision, you've got to have that in front of you. You may not see all of the fine details of it, but the Holy Spirit will pull back the curtains enough for you to catch glimpses of what can be. What can be in your life, what God says can be in your life, and it will stir you. It will stir you spiritually, mentally, and your emotions got to be involved with it too. It's got to stir your emotions. It's got to stir your thoughts. So
Yes.
now you begin to put a plan together with the Spirit of God regarding what your next steps are, regarding all of the areas where you need to begin to take next step, and you need to begin to self-discipline yourself in order to move to that next level. What
Yes.
says Dr. Marcos
Yes, I
Coronado?
love that. It's about the why, finding the why, and not just finding the why. It's like all the tools, all the things that you were like sharing are so important, and to define it and to be able to write it down, in a piece of paper. What is your why? It's like, of course, it's not something that it will be like revealed in just in one moment, of praying, or maybe it would happen, maybe. So, but it's like a search, it's like something. It's a process that you start like being intentional about it, and then you start like to discover, that why. It's like a discovering process, and but once you see it, it's something that it is like it will give you like the fuel and the passion to keep moving forward, even if you don't want to, even if someday you're feeling tired, because that's it's part of life. Sometimes you are tired, sometimes you are like you want to give up, and that's part of human nature. But when you have like your clear why, and it's like, oh my god, there is like non-obstacle, that can stop you in that process. So it's very important. That's why it's one of the reasons, I started to really to write down this, to write this book, Grow. Is because for the past, let's say, maybe 10 years or 13 years, that I have been like in the academy, and in the academia, in the university, and even in church, even in ministry. What I have observed, even working, and serving as a leader with the youth in ministry, is like they don't know their purpose in life. They don't know the why in their life. So there is this lack, of purpose, of meaning
Yeah.
in our youth too. So that's why I really put like this burden in my heart. Like was like, oh my God, I have to do something to help the next generations in order to find their why. And sometimes not just the youth, sometimes even older people, they don't know, certainly, the why of their lives,
Yeah.
like the compass of their lives, why they are doing what they are doing, you
Yeah,
know
and you're never too old to discover. As long as you're breathing and you're on the planet, there is destiny in you.
yeah.
You need to realize that. And some of you, even if you're close to retirement or even at retirement age, these next years can be your greatest years, because now you're not working a 9 to 5, you're retired, and now you can devote all of your time toward your dream, your vision, your purpose, ministry, whatever you want to do.
Yes.
You want to start a business, whatever you want to do, to be a blessing for your life, for your family, for your future, for ministry, for the Lord. Those are your greatest years. You can, if you're a retired teacher, you can go overseas somewhere for a year, go to Vietnam or somewhere and teach ESL, English as a second language, right?
Yes.
And then use that platform as an opportunity to share Christ with those students also. I mean, there are so many opportunities that you can do things for ministry, that you couldn't do when you were younger. So you're never too old to discover your why, to discover what God has for you in this next season of your life.
Yes, and what happens when you have like your why really defined? That's why it's very important to develop this habit, of writing, because when you write, it gives you the capacity to think in a better way and critically. So when you write down, and you start like writing down your thoughts, you are start like using a journal or whatever. it allows us to think and to think clearly about so many stuff. So that's why it's very important to grind, and start doing this kind of exercises, the ones that you were talking about, this prophetic daydreaming, or how I look like in the future. So how I
Exactly.
do, like how is that best version of myself in the future? How my ministry looks like in the future? How my community looks like in the future? How my relationships looks like in the future? In the best way, in the best possible way. How my family looks in the best possible shape in the future? My marriage, my children, my whatever, my business, my organization, my whatever. Put some name on it, put some label on it, but
Hmm.
how it looks like. And then when you see that future, the best vision, because that's the thing, is to develop that kind of vision, for your life and for everything in your life. And then it's like in reverse engineering part. It's like to bring it back to the present and to start like
Hmm.
thinking, what are the steps that I need to do in order to be able to uh, achieve that maximum vision that I have, not just for myself but for all the aspects of my life. But the why is what it will allow us to keep moving forward, even if we have problems, even if we have issues like climbing, that mountain, where is our highest vision. So the why is what it will allow us not to quit, because we are going to keep working hard. And the why, and then when we have the why, we're going to start like intentionally defining what kind of actions we need to put in practice to be able to achieve that vision. What kind of
Yeah.
activities, what kind of habits I have to develop, what kind of behaviors I have to put in practice. At the end is who I have to become to achieve that specific goals and that specific vision that I have.
You
And
said
when we,
you said to grow, to grow, that discomfort is essential for growth and transformation.
yeah, because we
Discomfort.
have to
Talk
be able
about
to,
discomfort, because nobody likes discomfort, and that people like, discomfort. I don't want discomfort. I want a comfortable life.
because there are always little or big things that we have to change in our lives. We have to change. If we are supposed to become better, a better person, we are to be able and to have the capacity to change. And what are we willing to change in our lives? Our way of thinking, of mindset, our habits, our behaviors, the way we think, and all the things that we do in order to achieve that goals and that vision that we have seen, already seen in the future. Because something that is in, let's say, uh, is inevitable is that we have to change.
Yeah, you
That's
said
the
that this
thing.
is essential truth. That discomfort, as a part of transformation, of growing, is essential. Is an essential central truth.
Yeah, we need to be, because discomfort is something. Okay, I am not. Let's say I'm not feel. I am not. Let's say I'm not feeling good with the current state where I am at. So I have to grow, because if not, we're going to remain in the same level of thinking, the same level or the same kind of results that we are having if we don't grow, if we don't change. Because in order to grow, we have to be open to change, to change, to ourselves. And then to be able to change the situations and
Mm.
to lead the situations that surround us. So that's very important, to be. It is where growth happens. Is it starts with that discomfort, and that discomfort, it can be our current situation. It can be the discomfort of our results. It can be the discomfort of the way that we are thinking about something, you know, and so we can look at the things in different ways, you know. So that discomfort, it can be so many things, you know. It
So
can be like,
tell me what are the signs of someone that is stuck in comfort instead of growth?
all right, let's say, okay, let's say, let's think about something. Okay, I'm not happy with my current job, for example, or the level of paycheck that I am having right now. So that's a discomfort. So what I have to do in order to have a better opportunity, you know, because I'm not a tree to remain in the same place where I'm working at, or you know, whatever, you know, you are working. So it's like, oh my God, is this is the time to start looking for a better opportunity, maybe in the place where I'm working, or maybe it's time to to start like a project or a business side, you know, project, in order to start like earning more money. So that's another way to look, you know, into that possibility, you know. So that's it's a discomfort. I am not comfortable, you know, with the amount of money that I am earning right now. So what are the possibilities? What are the options that I have? And what is the price that I am willing to pay in order to increase my my paycheck or my earning, you know, specifically. So that's the discomfort. Another way to do it, to look at another situation is, for example, in the spiritual side. Okay, I am not comfortable with the uh, let's say the spiritual stage where I am at right now. I know that there are more, but I am not comfortable where I am at. So what can I do? So let's start thinking, okay, one way to look for opportunities is maybe I have to start looking into going outside of the, let's say, the relationship circle where I am at. So I need to start having conversations and listening
Come
to
on.
other people that have the results where maybe I would love to be and to have. So I started looking out, you know, for opportunities to people that I admire, that they have, you know, grew, you know, in the past. So in order to learn from them, in order to really have opportunities to grow myself. So that's another way to look at this situation, to look for mentors, to look for better relationships, to look for books that can help me to grow in that specific area that I already identified.
Yeah.
So,
So what is the ecosystem you're living in? You know, that
yeah,
can be ecosystem, can be your church, your circle of friends, organizations, things you're connected with that or even online stuff. So what is the ecosystem? Is that ecosystem really helping you to grow? Is it a healthy ecosystem, you know, where every part of the ecosystem is able to grow and benefit each other and bless
yes.
each other, so to speak? That's really, really important, because if you're in a toxic ecosystem, it's going to affect you.
And maybe, yeah, of course. And maybe it's time to disrupt that ecosystem that is not allowing us to grow. Sometimes, for example, another way to look at it is like, maybe I have to start looking for a new conference. Maybe I need to go to the Epic Global Conference, you know, in Orlando,
Hey, come on.
to meet with people, kingdom minded people, you know, that they will really put me uncomfortable in order to say, you know what, I am done, you know, with all the things that I'm doing, all the things that are not functioning. So it's time to change. It's time to be challenged, you know, by people, you know, that another kind of people, you know, with another kind of mentality, you know,
Come on, come on,
that they
come
will
on,
allow me to
come
grow
on.
in the different areas that I am looking for. But the only way to do it is to going outside of that comfort. It's going outside of that ecosystem that is like is not allowing me to grow and not catalyzing my growth. So that's why it's very important the relationships we have, the relationships, the people that we are listening, and the books we are reading. That's so important. The places where it's like this is what is the input that we are allowing to enter in our
Come on.
mindsets, in our hearts. What kind of input we are allowing is sometimes we are very intentional about what we are eating, and physically, what we are eating, what we are drinking. But it's the same principle applies for what are the things that I am allowing to come into my mind. They are nutritious, they are good to my health, to my spiritual health, to my emotional health, to my mental health, to my whatever, is that is about intentionality. It's about to
Exactly.
be really intentional, and
Exactly.
but first we have to be really able and to be willing to take this step, the the comfort discomfort step. It's like I have to go outside of that comfort zone, because comfort zone, and it's very easy to go into that comfort zone. It's very easy to be comfortable. We our system, is in one way loves to be like in a comfort state. Everything is in order, everything is working. I don't want to move or make some adjustments, because maybe it won't work. So I will leave it as it is, because at least I am surviving,
You don't want to take
or
any risks.
any risk. Everything is like, yeah, maybe maybe it's not moving forward, maybe not. I don't want any problems, but everything is like in a steady state. But growth happens not in that
Yeah,
part.
but one of the
It-
saddest things with that is, Marcos, is that at the end of the day, you will end up at the end of your life with so many regrets.
yeah,
So many regrets. You could have done this, you should have done this, you should have gone through this open door, you should have disrupted in this area, you should have been intentional in your health, you should have been this, all of those various things. And then now things are so much worse because you let everything go because of your comfort state, and you want to just everything to be nice and comfortable. And unfortunately, that's so many people are like that, and they just, even church folks, just it bothers me that for many church folks is all about a feel good moment rather than about change and transformation. And we all want to feel good. I mean, I love a feel good moment too, but that's not enough to bring change and transformation. That feel good moment may only last an hour, maybe not even a day, you know
yeah,
and what am I going to do Monday morning when I wake up, for the week, for my
yeah,
life, for my future, for my
yes,
destiny. And so, yeah, feel good moments are all right, but you cannot just live on feel good and then you're always, that feel good moment almost becomes like a drug to you, because you're always looking for that next feel good moment to up your your whatever happy drugs in your brain, but yet exercise and various things that get us out of our comfort zone actually do release the happy drugs in our brain, because it creates a discipline. I always talk about, when you're, let's say, trying to get back into a habit of prayer or whatever it may be, it starts with number one, it starts with a desire. You
yeah,
have a great desire. And the Bible says that God gives us, in Psalm 37, the desires of our heart as we delight ourselves in Him. So as
yes,
we're delighting in Him through prayer and time in the Word, worship, etc., then He begins to cause desires to awaken inside of us regarding our why, our purpose, our destiny, that become a motivational force to motivate us forward. And then number two, from desire, things go to discipline. Right?
yes,
I can desire to want to lose so many pounds, whatever, of weight or whatever it may be, but unless I discipline myself, it's never going to happen. I've got to go walking, I've got to go exercising, I've got to watch my diet, whatever it may be. I have to be intentional about it, which means discipline. And discipline, another way of saying that, is delayed gratification.
Gratification.
Yeah, delayed gratification is what discipline is. You're delaying gratification because this is most important. And so you go from desire, number one, to number two, discipline. And then, with those that go out jogging or walking or to the gym or so, I mean, science tells us it releases all of those happy drugs, serotonin and all of the other stuff in your brain. And you actually get like this healthy high off of the exercise, that if you miss a day, you could kick yourself because you missed the day of experiencing the happy drug, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
And so when you do that discipline, then for a period of time, some say it's 21 days to do a new habit, some say 30 days, some say more, whatever it is. But the thing is that you begin to learn a new habit. It becomes your custom. It becomes your habit now, and you're doing it, and you're seeing weight come off. You're seeing yourself get stronger. You're seeing yourself having more intentionality, right, and more discipline in your life. And then number three, it becomes delight. Right? It becomes a delight. You just enjoy it now. It's no longer like the discipline it was for that time period, as you're fighting through the discomfort and you're in this disruption period and you're whatever, and you're fighting through it. It's like, it's cold out today. It's raining out today. The other day, a couple of times I went out to do my walk, because I've been walking all summer, with the exception of when I was overseas in Ethiopia and Croatia and then Cuba for a time. But I said, I got to get back into this. But this is our cold, rainy season here in the Pacific Northwest, Seattle area, So the other day it was like a little bit raining. I said, I'm not going to stop. I'm going to go out with my umbrella, and I went out and did my 2.2 miles, 3.5 kilometers, round trip, and I did it with my umbrella. So I'm determined now, whether it's raining or not raining, I'm going to go out and get at least 2.2. Sometimes if I have time, I'll do it in the morning and in the evening and get 4.4 in, right? And if I have to do it with an umbrella, and I'll get dressed up warm, put my cap on, put my scarf on, whatever I got to do, my gloves on, so that I'm not freezing doing it, and I'm going to do it, and of course I'm losing more weight, and I've already got a couple of major health issues behind. I'm out of the pre-diabetic zone, which I was in for a few years, and so I'm out of that zone now medically, from the last blood test, and so forth, and I'm going to keep pressing forward, and so but if I got to do it with an umbrella, I'll do it with an umbrella. So I have to be intentional. But now, almost if I miss a day or so, it's almost like wow, my goodness, shucks, I missed the day. Because I enjoy it, because I'm talking to the Lord and I'm out there in nature and I'm enjoying it, even if it's raining a little bit. So I've made that decision. I have to do this because I'll be 73 in January, and and somebody once said that when you get to a certain place in life, you realize there's more road behind you than there is in front of you. So you can either get very depressed when you hear that, or you can realize I got to maximize and optimize the road that is in front of me. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm not ready for the fiery chariot yet to come and pick me up and take me to heaven. I got more work to do. I got a whole nother generation to pour into, and I'm not ready to go anywhere yet. So that means I got to stay healthy so I can keep going to the nations and keep doing what God's called me to do across America and across the world and into a whole new generation. So I have to be intentional about that. I definitely have to be intentional about that. And that doesn't mean that I don't have opposition or challenges or whatever else that just would want me to just stop doing it. What are you crazy? You're almost 73. Come on now, just take it easy. No, I found out that old age, yes, of course there's biological stuff, but it's also a spirit. I've come to the conclusion that old age is a spirit. And if you're not careful, that spirit will come on you and begin to cause you to just slow down and da. And so if you're not intentional about keeping your mind sharp, your physical body moving forward and reading and keeping up with things and all of those things, yeah, you'll end up in an old folks home sometime really soon, and I'm not ready for a rocking chair at Jerusalem Geriatric Center. I ain't going out like that. So,
Yes.
somebody else, God bless you. You may want to do that. We'll keep rocking till Jesus takes you home. I'll see you in heaven, but that ain't for me, because I got too much to do. God has given me all of what he's given me over the last 40 to 50 years. 50 years almost of salvation, 45 years of ministry, and 40 years of international apostolic ministry to 101
Yes.
nations. All of that I got to pour into a new generation of young leaders that I've got to help raise up in terms of what God is calling me to do, what my metron, my measure of rule is in the earth. And so I've got to
Yes.
be serious about doing these things. And so that means I got to be serious about doing the things I have to do to be able to continue to do those things for years to come. And if I'm not, then my goodness. But old age spirit, you have to resist it. You have to put up resistance
Yes.
to it. And that means you have to press through it for breakthrough after breakthrough. Otherwise, it will come and it will start to cause your muscles to seize up and this to seize up, and you can't move like you used to move. And no, you have to keep moving. If you don't keep moving, you'll
You're
just
dying.
gravity and biology will go to work along with that spirit and will try to shut you down earlier in life. And I ain't going out like that. I'm not doing that. So my why is big enough to press through. My why is big enough even to travel during the COVID times and do whatever I needed to do. My why is big enough because that's what it is.
Yes. And and at the end, growth is let's say growth is hard,
Oh,
but not choosing to grow is even harder. Because if we don't choose to grow right now in the present, we are going to regret in the future. Our future self will regret because we didn't take the opportunity and the challenge to grow in the past.
yeah,
So is the only way. Is the only way to build a better future is to grow today.
yeah,
How serious we take growth today, it will affect and it will impact the results that we are having in the future. So
yeah,
that's the thing. It's like what you are saying. All the exercise, all the things that you are taking care of yourself, that's self leadership, taking care of our temple because we are temple of the Holy Spirit of the living God. So if we are temple of God, we have to take care and be intentional about our lives, about our body, and that's very sad that, or it can be very sad that if we have that great and enormous why, very defined, very clear, but we can self-sabotage that thing, that vision, because we are not being intentional in the present. We with our healthy habits, with
yeah,
our way of eating, because we are not exercising enough in the present, because we are not sacrificing things in the present. Maybe it's a drink, maybe it's a food, uh, maybe it's a walk that we need to take, in a normal day,
yeah.
every week. Maybe it's going to the gym. Maybe it's going. I don't know what is the thing, or the
Reading a
activity.
book once a month or twice a
Or
month or
yeah,
whatever.
but we must show up and do it and do it.
Yeah,
I know that sometimes we don't have the desire to do it, but that's where we need to put like self-discipline, in motion. It's like I have to do it. Normally I go to the gym, so sometimes I don't want to go. That's it. I don't want to go sometimes. But even when I don't want to go, those days I make it count, more,
okay,
because
that's
I
good.
go, I go, even if I don't want to, even if I'm feeling like, oh, it's more comfortable, to keep, now, in the cold weather, to to keep my body warm, in the in my bed, and everything with my blankets, so warm. It's so comfortable, and
Yeah,
it's very uncomfortable, to wake up, to get up, to take my clothing, and everything, and to drive to the gym or the closest place, where I have to exercise. But then when I am there, I'm just start thinking, oh, I am feeling so great. So I am really thankful that I just woke up and I came to do it, even when I didn't want to, but I
Wow.
did it. So
Wow.
that's the things that really count for the most, I think.
Yeah.
So and that applies for everything that like you were saying, because you have like an enough a big enough why and a very clear why that even when you don't want to do it, you have to do it, and you have to do it. You
Right,
know?
right. Let's segue for a moment. I want you to when we come back in just a second to talk about what does it look like to design a growth system, a daily growth system for
Yeah.
everyday life. And but I want to let people know that let me see, where is it here? That you can pre-order Dr. Marcos
Yes.
Coronado's book, Grow, and help support him also in crowdfunding it to get it published. And you can go to how does it say that?
Publishizer.
Publishizer,
Publishizer.
Publishizer, huh?
Yeah, publishizer.
Publishizer.com/grow, publishizer.com/grow, and you can pre-order his book and you can help him there in crowdfunding it so that he has a major publisher that he's working with that has accepted his project, and so the book is already finished and so for almost finished,
Yeah.
and in terms of just some editing that's needed, and so that would be a great blessing if you could do that and go to I can't even say that.
Publishizer.
Publishizer. Publishizer. There
Yeah.
it is on the screen. Publishizer.com/grow. And that would be a great blessing because this book is going to be really, really incredible book. And actually, Dr. Marcos showed me some time ago a tremendous leadership course that he
Yeah.
has put together of about 64 hours of leadership material. And this is really the latest leadership stuff that is out there that he has both researched and then also written himself. And it is really state of the art, relevant leadership teaching and training, and much a good portion of that is put together in this book. It's only about 100. You said about 170 pages,
Yeah.
something
Yes.
like that, and
Yeah.
so it'll be an easy read, but it'll really be something that'll help challenge you and charge you to really move forward, to self lead, to lead yourself. I believe that this is more and more important, brothers and sisters, in the days that we are moving forward in. These days where everything is shifting and everything, trust me, everything is disrupting in the next few years, going into 2030 and beyond, with AI, with artificial intelligence and quantum computing and advanced robotics and everything. Listen, everything is shifting. You will not recognize this current world, and by the time 2030 comes around, things will have changed so much. And self-leadership is incredibly, incredibly, incredibly important for you
Yes.
to both understand what's happening out there in the world and then knowing how to navigate it, and to be able to navigate it. The Bible talks about the sons of Issachar that had understanding of the times and knew what to do. And so we need to have that prophetic understanding of the times and know how to navigate accurately these times. And part of doing that is that we know how to lead ourselves in and through these times successfully. And that's really, 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 really important, because those who just allow these times to come on them and don't change anything and just comfortable every night putting on the television and whatever, and just not making any effort to take the steps necessary to bring growth and change and transformation in your life, these times are gonna hit you pretty hard, because there is a huge reset that's coming economically in the next couple of years. It may be by 2030 or even before, where everything is going to be reset as all economies end up going digital. With coins, Bitcoin, and other kinds of coins, and so forth, and there may be a
Yeah.
major shift economically, regarding that, as paper money gets phased out. It may even become devalued, so that nations can use this to wipe away 50% or more of their national debt, which America is $37 trillion. So that
Yeah.
means the average worker, the average person, is going to lose 50% of value in what they have worked so hard for. So there are so many things that you will not even be looking into or aware of what is happening if you are not leading yourself. If you are not proactive in doing this, then you'll end up being reactive, and everything will just hit you, and then you'll try to react in real time rather than being proactive and seeing and knowing what's coming and leading yourself to make the right choices for the future, and being
Yes.
prepared for what that future looks like and how you can be successfully navigating the new future that's coming, the resets that are coming, the disruption that is coming. It's coming, brothers and sisters. It is coming, unless a comet hits the planet and whatever, let me tell you, it is coming. And so and you can listen to even the secular prognosticators that have insight into finances and the future and so forth, and all of them are saying it is coming. And so we need to be ready. We need to be ready,
Yeah.
and we need to be strong, and we need to understand both spiritually and in the natural. We need to understand how to lead ourselves also spiritually and in the natural, and we need to be the best version of ourselves in order to be
Yes.
able to do that.
Yes.
And Dr. Marco's book, Grow, will really help you and will really challenge you and give you steps to take. And so I want to encourage you to go to Publishizer,
Yes.
Publishizer.com/grow, and pre-order his book, and maybe the Lord will lead you even to be a blessing and do something extra in terms of helping him crowdfund the project. He's looking to raise about $6,000 for this project, and when he's just started a little over a week ago with the crowdfunding, and so it will be a tremendous blessing. And so if you'll go ahead and do that, or write that down, Publishizer.com/grow. And
Yes.
so let's continue on talking about what does it look like in everyday life to design a growth system.
Yeah. That's very important. Let's say one time, uh, I was talking with Dr. Tim Elmer, and
He's a close associate with John Maxwell.
yeah, with Johnson Maxwell. Yeah, he has been like working with him for many years, and together, and he recommended to me, one. Uh, it was it was a video from Andy Stanley, and it was a very interesting video. He was talking about how systems create behaviors. So if we want to change a behavior, we have to think first in how to change the system and how is working the system that is creating those kind of behaviors. And at the end, that behaviors are responsible for the results that we are obtaining. So here, talking about growth, we have to be really intentional about what is our growth system, because everyone has a system. Everyone, we run on systems, the way we think, the things that we do in our lives, and they become habits, and that's the way that we run our lives, in everything. An organization has system, and that system is delivering, results and key indicators, that measure the I don't know, the level, of performance, that the organization is having. So that applies to our lives, so that's why it's very important to have a growth system and to design it, to customize also, and to take, yeah, in a way that we can follow it, and in order to execute it, and to be able to accomplish the goal or the vision that we have. So, for example, one of the things, and there are like very easy things that we can apply, but in those simple steps that if we apply them very effectively, in our lives, we can achieve massive results. So, for example, the first thing that we can do is, and we have been talking about a little bit in our conversation, but now we are going to dig a little bit on it. For example, surround yourself with people that promote your growth, and so that's part of the ecosystem that we need to be surrounded in order to foster our growth. So, is that we have the question is this: do we have the proper and adequate people, in our lives to foster our growth? So that's the main question here. So we have to spend time with people that are talented, that are smart or smarter than us, that we can learn from them. People
Yeah.
that is experienced, and people that maybe they are like 2 or 3 steps ahead of us. So, in order that we can learn from them. So that's very important. Who is this people? People that we admire, and people that we can learn from them. So it's very important to have those kind of people in our lives, and people that can nurture us, and because that will enhance our growth. So
You
this
you
is the first
mentioned
thing.
you mentioned that you're blending psychology, spiritual principles, and
Yeah.
real life experience in the book. Why is that combination important to you?
Oh, but it's very important because at the end we need, how we function ourselves, because we are thinking about and talking about the importance of leading ourselves. So that's very important because we have sometimes to deal with a change of attitude, a change of uh, of mindset, because sometimes we think, all the things are spiritual, but not all the things are spiritual. It's like to have like the proper mix, of knowledge, tools, and things in order to grow. And for example, sometimes, yeah, of course, spirituality in this case is God at the core of everything. Is the most important thing that we can have. So it's like to have develop, these spiritual principles in our life in order to grow and to enhance that kind of growth. So that's why it's very important, the spirituality, the psychology, and also we have to because real life is there. Sometimes the spiritual principle is there, but then it comes the the practical steps, how we translate a spiritual principle into a real life experience.
Mm.
So that's very important, because we can say, okay, we have to be disciplined. Yeah, but how it looks like, yeah, in a practical way of living, how we can
You froze up there a moment, Dr. Marcos.
once we have we have identified that people that can enhance our growth. The next thing is we can start looking for and to listen to inspiring messages, that we can connect. Now we have like so many resources. You were telling, about AI, so much access to information, so much access to technology. But sometimes, because we know that those resources are there and most of them are free, we don't go into those resources.
Mm.
We know that they are there, but we don't go to look for them, and of course we don't apply them. So that's very important, to listen to inspiring message, what we are listening and who we are listening. So we
Yeah.
have this access to these videos, to these podcasts, to these kind of lives that we are talking about here
Yeah.
with you, the series, audios, contents that can stimulate our growth. So
Absolutely.
first, the people that we are being surrounded that can enhance our growth, and the second, what kind of messages we are listening. And if we think about the people that we are surrounded, uh, we can think also about having mentors. That's very important, having mentors, people that we can be really like accountable to them, and then can help us to really take the next steps accordingly to our journey and the stage of life that we are living in, because it's not the
How
same.
important have mentors been to your life?
It has been a totally has been a catalyst to my growth.
Mm.
If you want to catalyze your growth, you have to have mentors. You cannot go and say, I'm doing this alone," because if you are trying to do it alone, maybe you will achieve that goal that you have, that vision, but maybe it will take you 30 or 40 years of your life. But if you have a mentor, maybe that span of time you will make it shorter. Maybe
Mm.
you will achieve it in a span of 10 years, because that you have access to the expertise, to the knowledge of that person that already made it. So that's wisdom,
Yeah.
because you are accessing to that experience, expertise, knowledge, and wisdom of that person in order to make you better. And,
Yeah.
and, and it will increase the probabilities and the possibilities to achieve that goal and that vision in a shorter time. So that's
Absolutely.
wisdom, because we can learn from failures. I'm not saying that you're not going to fail. Yes, we are going to fail, and a lot, but sometimes we can avoid some kind of
Absolutely.
mistakes and failures
Absolutely.
because we are listening to a person that already uh, went into that path. So,
Yeah.
for example,
So there's an
let's say,
acceleration then that takes place
and
with
yeah, in
mentor.
acceleration, that is a catalyst. It can enhance our growth and catalyze our growth. So at the end, a catalyst, because I am also a professor, a catalyst is a substance that can, the let's say, the why of the catalyst is to really make in a chemical reaction, to make it happen, and to increase the possibilities to that reaction to happen, you know in a shorter period of time.
Yeah.
So that's about the catalyst. So if I want to catalyze my process, definitely I need a mentor, and I need the mentors in my life, and in different categories that I have. For example, for me, having you, not just as a spiritual father and a mentor, that is very important, in order to enhance growth in so many areas, of my life, or other mentors. For example, Dr. Tim Elmore, that has been helping me into this leadership journey, and how to really be relevant with the youth, how to connect with different generations in order to foster, leadership, and to connect and to communicate and whatever. But that's important of having a mentor. But we need to be really open, humble, that we don't know anything or everything. We have to be open to learn from others, for
Yeah.
from people more experienced people. So
Absolutely.
that's a blessing, to have mentors. So, but we have to be really intentional and to be really accountable to keep moving forward and to advance in our growth journey.
Yeah, you mentioned that in the book that younger generations often struggle with instant gratification. So, how can someone build? How can they build resilience? How does embracing responsibility change a person's future? And also, what does future focused being future focused look like in our daily habits. So yeah, the young generation, of course, that instant gratification is is there.
Yeah.
They're accused, I'm not sure if always correctly, but they're accused of being the entitled generation, right? And
Yes.
in many ways. And but what can help them to build resilience?
Yes. First, resilience grows when we choose responsibility. It's something that we have to start like taking back. I think it's very important to really own the responsibility of our lives, of the results that we are having right now and the results that we are going to have in the future. So it's very important to own our lives, our responsibility. So it's very important to be responsible. Whatever is the outcome, if it's positive or it's negative, I take the ownership of this and I am responsible of this. So that's very important. And do the hard things on purpose. Because sometimes what is happening right now, I'm not saying that it's wrong, but sometimes what is happening is like, for example, in the youth, they are like trying like the easy path or the easy stuff or the easy things, or sometimes they think that they deserve, the things or the
So
outcomes.
how do you, if you, when you're mentoring them, how do you deal with that? How do you challenge them that that's not the best approach?
It's about making questions. It's very important asking questions, powerful questions, in order to open them. When we start like asking questions and help them to discover, like the answer themselves, it helps them, and it allows us to connect with them.
Good.
Because sometimes if we tend just to give them, provide them the answers, sometimes like uh, no, I'm not believing in your let's say I'm not believing in your answer or whatever. Sometimes they say, you are old or whatever, or you are grown, and sometimes we don't connect with them. But sometimes when we what I've been like applying, when we ask questions and we have Kevin Smith is telling, when we are opening, the dialogue, that can allow us to really connect with them,
Yeah.
and we earn the right to be listened by them. So that's very important to ask questions to them. Why they are trying to have that outcome, or what is driving them, and what are the steps that they need to achieve that goal. And when they are thinking about it, when they are even writing about it, they realize that it's not easy. They realize that they need to take action and to develop and change things, change attitude also, in order to increase the possibilities to make it happen.
Mm, that's
They
good.
realize that they have to do the hard things, and they have, like the things that we have been talking about, they have to show up even if they don't want to. So that's important. And then when we talk about delayed gratification, I think, is a superpower, because sometimes even if we don't see it in the present,
That's good.
even if we don't feel it right now, because it's something that we are not having right now in the present, then in the future we are going to be grateful that we delayed that gratification. And because right now the world is like an addiction, like to have like instant gratification in everything, in they call it like cheap dopamine. It's like cheap dopamine is everywhere. It's in the social media, is in the series, in Netflix, and in so many things, that give us pleasure, but the real thing, and the best things take time. and,
Wow.
and and most of the time, the things that we really want to build, they take time, the things that.
That's sometimes, from a spiritual side also, where fasting, of course, can be really powerful in terms of delayed gratification is a superpower, because that's what you're doing when you're fasting, whether
Yes.
it's a partial fast, or a day or two or three, or whatever it may be, or even just fasting until evening, and just do a meal for a few days or a week, or whatever. You're causing your flesh, the gratifications of your flesh, to decrease.
Yes.
Then of course your spirit man is increasing, right? And
Yes.
so any doubt or unbelief or fears or whatever, anxiety, they're decreasing. And then faith and confidence and all of those things begin to rise up in your spirit,
Yes.
and so that becomes a huge superpower then to break through resistance barriers,
Yes.
and to move forward into putting into place the things you really need to do. And so so fasting can really be a blessing to help accelerate that process.
Yes, of course, it can accelerate it, and it's important, and also is it help everyone, to really be aware of the future, is to be intentional, that our future is built by our choices of today, and not our intentions, but our choices and our actions, so that really matters. What we do in the present, it will matter in the future at the
Yeah.
end, because it's the way it works. And yeah, so that's very important. Then, and in the talking about the growth system, it's important to read books that will boost our growth, to make really a commitment to read a book each month. I know that it's easier, to go and to watch a series or a new episode, of a series, a TV show or whatever, in Amazon, so many
Yeah.
platforms right now, but to make the commitment, because there are a lot of wisdom, in real good books, because we can find too, a lot of wisdom there. And there is a say, that is about, tell me the size of your personal library, and I will tell you how important growth is to you.
Wow,
So,
that's good. That's really good.
and
Well,
that's it.
even audio books,
Oh,
if
maybe in
people are
audiobooks.
if
So
people are driving to work, if they take 30 minutes, 25, 30 minutes to drive to work and back at home, that's an hour in the car. You have to
uh,
listen to an audiobook.
sometimes I tell to my students, you know what? Uh, it's an investment that you are taking on yourself when you buy a book and you read it.
Yeah.
So why to really think twice if you are going to buy a book, but you don't think twice when you go and grab or buy, I don't know, uh, whatever product you want to buy. But at the end, a book can change your life.
Yeah.
One idea containing a book can change
Exactly.
completely the
Exactly.
way you're living and the outcomes that you are having. So one idea. So sometimes it's just about one idea that can, boom, that can
So
create a
true.
huge momentum in your life and can catalyze our growth. So that's very important. So don't think or ask yourself how much a book can cost you. Instead ask yourself what you will not learn, grow, or improve if you don't invest in buying that book. So
Yeah.
get in love, of books. Is very important to consume content, that make you better, that really can enhance your growth. And there is a quote by an author that I followed, is Raymond Samson. He says, if people knew that they were only a book away from the life they have dreamed, they would run
Wow.
to a bookstore right
Wow.
away.
Wow. That's so good.
That's
That's so
powerful,
good.
That's so good. That's the power of reading real books, real stuff that can make us better. So much
Absolutely.
wisdom there. And that's very important. So then it's important to go to events, that can contribute to your growth, such as conferences,
Yeah.
workshops, congresses, forums. For example, I already know that every January I have to be with my Epic family, whatever is the congress. It's in Orlando, it's in Tennessee. I have to be there. I have to show up there. Why? Because it's the way that I can be nurtured. I can
Yeah.
receive impartation. I can receive the word. I can receive. and listen to the uh, so much diverse leaders, with different backgrounds, different ideas, what revelations or what God is telling them, to do. So I have to be open to that, because that will enhance and it will my growth, and it will
Yeah,
help me to start my year in the best possible way. So that's
absolutely.
very important to have like that kind of of conferences, of workshops, or forums, or among other kind of that's about investing, real investing in ourselves. Sometimes
Absolutely.
we worry more about the place where we are going to take vacations, but we are not worried enough about where I am going to develop various skills, to receive a word from God, to receive a training,
Yeah.
to receive those of kind of things that will make me better, and to grow better and to convert into the person that I have to become, in the future. So that's it,
Absolutely. And there's the information on the screen, by the way. Epic 2026, our
yeah.
theme this January is Catalyst. And it's in Orlando, Kissimmee, January 14th through the 17th. And for more information regarding speakers, hotels, schedule, everything, and to register, it's epic2026.eventbrite.com. We start Wednesday evening on the 14th, and that's all day and evening, the Thursday and the Friday, and then half day on the Saturday. And Orlando is a nice place to be in the wintertime.
Yes.
So if you want to stay a few extra days, that's actually the Martin Luther King Day weekend. So on that Monday, Martin Luther King Day. So most people have a holiday on that day. So stay over for a couple of days afterwards and enjoy beautiful Orlando. And
Yeah.
so go to epic2026.eventbrite.com and register. The hotel information is right there, the closest hotels. And listen, it's going to be an incredible blessing to you. You bring that many
Yes.
apostolic, prophetic people, leaders together in a room, and the worship is always just deep and awesome. And every speaker, and there's impartation time, prophetic ministry. Powerful speaking teachers, preachers. It's just an amazing time every year, and
Yeah.
and it's very intense. It's a 3-day intensive, and so I really want to encourage you to make your plans to be with us. And incredible. So is there a moment in your own life where in your own journey where you felt there was some discomfort that you had in your life that really led you to a breakthrough, and what sacrifices did you end up having to make?
Yes. Uh, one of the I have like, and I talk a little bit about that in the book, and but sometimes I really, for example, there was a time when I start. Okay, one defining moment, it was very difficult, to me, and I talk about that, about how to grow in through adversity. It was when my father passed away,
Oh
so
yeah.
so that happened, like 2 years ago, almost 3 years ago, and it was a very hard moment. But in that moment, I also helped me, to realize that I needed to keep moving forward, and to really grow with purpose, on purpose. And something, and a word that I really remembered from that time, because you came, to be with us here in Mexicali, for the memorial of my dad. Um and you told me, and you told us too. It was like, I know that this moment is very hard right now, and it's causing so much pain, but keep growing on purpose. Keep growing, even that when you are dealing with this kind of adversity and this kind of pain, because it was the most painful experience, that I have lived at a time. And you said, keep growing on purpose. So I was like really, it was a word that I really stuck, on my mind, on my heart. And I was like, yeah, I have to keep moving forward, and with more passion, following, because at the end is part of my dad's legacy. It's like to keep moving forward on that, on all the things that he has uh, invested in me, and all the things that I have learned, when I was growing up in church. It was like a moment also of clarity, like I was like thinking, oh my God, I was prepared for these times. I was prepared for this moment. And now, of course, not having my father with me is difficult, but I know that all the work that he has done in the past is it was pretty, well done, and now I'm putting all that, let's say, that expertise, that experiences, that knowledge, put them into practice right now. So I had like that kind of clarity, that everything that I am doing from that moment and beyond, it has to be aligned with my
Yeah.
why.
Yeah.
Everything,
Wow.
everything. If it's a new relationship, I try to not try. I filter that kind of relationship, that kind of new project, that kind of new idea. I filter that specifically through that why. Is that it's gonna affect my why? It's gonna add value to my why? It's connected to my why? There is like congruence or coherence, with my why. Okay, let's do it. If not, I'm not doing it. So I became like more intentional, really intentional about that kind of things, and the priorities and the time, because unfortunately we just have 24 hours, per day. So we have to be really intentional and focused what we are doing with
So
those
true.
24 hours, and with whom we are spending that amount of time, doing the things that we are supposed to be doing because they are important, because they are
Yeah.
connected to our why. So that's something that really gave me that kind of clarity,
Wow.
and to keep moving forward, and with that passion, and for the people. I think that that's one of the most important things, one of the most important things that my father gave me. The first one, it was to really always loving God first, putting God first in everything I do. And the second one is putting people second. It's like adding value, serving people. So that's, I think, where my let's say, my passion, to equip, to inspire people, where it comes from. So yeah, that's
Wow.
one of the defining moment, and I talk about that in the book Grow. And I had like another kind of experiences, when you will read about it, when my wife, she was pregnant, about from Marcos, and she was like 1 week, in intensive care. And she was really fighting, between life and death for
Wow.
that week. And that was another defining moment, like, even in that kind of adversity, because life is about that. We have to be open to the good things, and sometimes not the good things, or not positive things, that will happen. But at the end, these experiences is like a test, they test us, and gave us the opportunity to keep growing, and other kind of areas of our lives. So that's another one. And I keep like talking about this. And another one, that that defining moment, like to really, um, let's say, to write this book, it was that observing that too many people were like, because listening to them, having conversations with so many students, with so many people, just listen to them, how sometimes, they don't, yeah, they are living like in a autopilot, and without living intentionally, without even knowing what is their why, without meaning. So I was like, I have to do something, and I have,
Wow.
if I have the gift to live in this way with a clear why, with purpose, with meaning, so why not to give this opportunity to invest to other people in order to help them to discover this better way,
Yeah.
to live. So that's why that has really helped me, and this and to make that decision to write this book.
Wow. 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 How can, as we're wrapping it up, how can
Yes.
people start taking an action step today? You talk about shifting from can I to how
Yeah.
can I? So, how does a person make that shift?
Yeah, for example, when we talk about can I, we are opening the possibility to fail. Like if I can or I don't. But what if we start like asking or switch the question to how can I? Because when we ask that question, we are putting all the effort and the energy into
Right.
looking for possibilities to really solve the problem, or to
Right.
solve the issue, to
Yeah.
think in new ways, like out of the box, to innovate, to look how to make it done. So that's very important. So first, can I is like powerless, but how can I is like a powerful thinking, powerful question.
Wow.
So how can we make this shift? First, let's switch the question. How can I do this? How can I change? How can I, for example, let's not try to start like trying to eat all the pie, or all the cake. Let's start with a small piece. Let's start choosing one area where we are, or where we have been comfortable, and start doing something uncomfortable, or one thing that is uncomfortable today. So
Mm.
let's start with one area. Pick that area, and then start building from that. How can I change the situation? How can I be better? How can I maybe start this small action that will allow me to perform better and to have a better outcome in that specific area? So you can name it. It can be your relationships, it can be your financial, it can be your spiritual growth, it can be I don't know, so many things. But pick that specific and be specific, because sometimes we don't we are not being specific, with the things that we want to change. Sometimes, oh yeah, I want to lose weight, but that is not specific, because even if you lose like I don't know, like even 1 pound, you are losing weight. But a specific is like, no, I want to reach this level of health, and that is going to allow me to
You got froze up for a second there, Marcos. Hello.
to achieve the outcome that you want to have, in the future. So
Wow.
it starts small. It starts small. Sometimes we want to to start big. But here I think that the best way to put it in practice is to start with something small and to start testing, and then we're going to learn, how to have like a bigger impact, in our lives. But start small, and the most important thing is start, because sometimes we delayed, and delay the start, and we start like, yeah, we are learning too much. We are like um, like having so much knowledge in our minds and so many things, and taking so many courses or certifications or so many things, but we are not practicing enough, and we are not starting. So we have to put it in practice, because sometimes people say, yeah, knowledge is power. But no, knowledge is not power. Is power just in the case that if we apply that knowledge. When we apply
Oh,
that knowledge, yeah,
that
it's
is
power.
power.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And that's very
Wow.
important.
Wow.
So,
This has been great. This has been great. What, as we're wrapping it up now and coming
yes.
to a close, what's the main message, the one message you want readers to walk away with from your book, Grow? Work, yeah. What is it what's like the one main thing, the one main message that you want them to walk away from
Okay.
this?
The main mission is that your future depends on the growth you choose today.
Your future depends on
On the growth you choose today.
the growth you choose today.
Yeah. So
Your
this is an
future.
invitation, not to just feel better, but to become better. So that's the way. If we want to close the gap, because we started uh,
Say it
with that
again.
idea.
Your future depends on the growth
Your future depends on the growth you choose today.
you choose today. Let me write this and put it up. There we go. Your future depends on the growth you choose today. So, everyone, what is the growth that you're choosing today? What is the
Yeah.
growth? And listen, as we're just coming to a close, if you have just quickly a question you want to put up as we phase out here in just a minute, let me know if there's a question about our conversation today. But I love that. Your future, there we go. Your future depends on the growth you choose
Yes.
today. Wow, that's really, really powerful. On the growth you choose today. Your future depends on the growth you choose today. Listen,
Yeah.
everyone, we have to choose. We have to make the right choices. We have to make the right choices, and this is incredibly, so
Yes.
critically important. And brothers and sisters, I want to encourage you to continue sharing. If you came on the broadcast late and you haven't shared it, I want you to share the broadcast. And also, let me put the banner back up here regarding where is it here? We'll find it in just a moment here about the book here to order Dr. Marcos, pre-order Dr.
Yes.
Marcos' book, Grow, and help support him in crowdfunding also. And I think there is a sample read also there on that page. Is that true?
Sorry again.
Is
It was
there a
like,
sample? Is there a sample read on that page?
yeah, there is a sample there, a chapter, a sample
Okay, there's a
chapter.
chapter that
You
you can
can
read
look into
also
it.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you go to publishizer.com, Publishizer with a Z on the end there,
Yes.
publishizer.com/grow. You can pre-order his book, and also if the Lord leads you to invest more, he's in the moment in a crowdfunding project here to raise a certain amount of money for having it published, and so it'll be a great blessing if you do that. And go ahead and read a chapter from the book there.
Yes.
This book's going to be a tremendous blessing to a lot of people. Dr. Marcos has done a lot of research and a lot of work he's put into this. This actually is a kind of a synopsis of a 64-hour course that he has
Yeah.
compiled together. And this is about maybe 50% or so
Yeah.
of what actually is in that course that we're going to be making available early next year sometime. And we'll let you know more about that. But really, to be able to lead ourselves into the future is
Yeah.
critically. Self-leadership is so critically important, brothers and sisters, for
Yes.
everything we're going to do to have a successful, fruitful, blessed future. It is critically important for us to really consider the things that we've talked about here today on this broadcast. And let me just check if anyone had a last minute question here. I think we may have answered a lot of questions here. So, wow. So, listen, I want to thank you, Dr. Marcos Coronado from
Yes.
Mexicali, Mexico, and thank you for coming on and blessing us with all of this insight today. It's been really powerful, and I want to encourage you to listen again to the broadcast, even if you were
Yeah.
on from the beginning, because and have a journal or something and take notes, because there's a lot more that you will learn, and even God will speak to you as you're listening to it a second and maybe even a third time. And then also make sure and share it with others that they can come and into the replay and listen to it. We usually have sometimes some of our replays double, triple, quadruple in views afterwards. So really want to encourage you to do that. People that you know that need this message, to challenge them to get unstuck.
Yes.
You know, we can all get stuck. It's harder to get unstuck than it is to get stuck. We can get stuck, and then sometimes, you know, we can be stuck and we put the pedal to the metal and the speedometer says we're going 100 miles an hour, but yet we're just spinning our wheels and we're not going anywhere.
Yes.
You know, and just kicking up a lot of dirt and noise, making a lot of noise, and we're not going anywhere. And we need to get out the rut. We need to get unstuck to get back on the highway of our destiny. And so that's what this book is going to do. And really applaud Dr. Marcos for writing this book. I know it's going to bless so many people. And stay tuned for the course. The leadership course that's going to be coming out early next year, and we'll let you know more information about that. Thank you, everyone, for coming on today. And also, let me just put up quickly, don't forget about Epic Global Network Summit. The theme Catalyst, Epic 2026 in Orlando, Florida, January 14th through the 17th. That's Wednesday through Saturday. And go to epic2026.eventbrite.com to register. And for more information, it's all there, everything that you need, and encourage you to do that right away. And I know it's going to be 3 intensive days of just heaven on earth for your life. And there's the information again, publishizer.com/grow to pre-order his book, to read a chapter free there, and also to support him in crowdfunding. And so, listen, thank you, everyone, for joining us. Thank you, Dr. Marcos Coronado, for your time tonight. It's been an incredible live podcast here this evening, and we'll do one again very soon. And I'll be on again, by the way, tomorrow night for another live podcast with a guest Sunday evening at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 Central, 6 p.m. Pacific time. And so come on and join me tomorrow night after all of your church function things and spending time with your family. Come join me in the evening with my guest for another tremendous Epic Live podcast. All right, everyone, have a great evening. Have a great Sunday tomorrow. Bye-bye now.
All right. Bye-bye. Thank you.